So my name's Louise Wilde, or Lou Wilde, and I'm predominantly a wood artist. I started during COVID really. I'd been carving little pieces, just kind of whittling with a knife, and I went along to a summer show that they'd had some carving things, and I kind of got into that way. And then during COVID, my carving class stopped, and kind of YouTube, you have a good look on YouTube, and if you're into carving, you get subjected to wood turning stuff as well, and I was just fascinated by it. And luckily enough, the chap who ran the carving course had a lathe as well, and he was like, well, yeah, come along and have a go. So I did, and it was a little bit scary, but I thought if I'm going to invest in a lathe, I need to go and have a lesson. So during one of the lockdown breaks, I managed to go away and have a couple of days with Mick Hanbury, who was doing a course, and I just loved it. And he had a look at the lathe that I was thinking about buying, and I was lucky. I managed to get hold of a lathe. In fact, the guy who sold the lathe was selling his whole shed. He was selling his whole shed, so I had sharpening systems, I had tools, I had wood, I had everything. So I thought, because as a wood turner, you've never got everything. So when I first started wood turning, there were lots of people on Facebook who might have been selling stuff or would have some, and having a clear out or something. So they always say the best wood is free wood, and I have more free wood now than I know what to do with. I predominantly use wood that comes from trees that have fallen. And here in the west part of Ireland, we have a lot of winds, a lot of trees come down. And I have a nice big bandsaw as well now that I can cut things once they've been chainsawed into pieces that I can manage. You put a piece of wood on the lathe and you don't know what's inside it, and it's like you turn it, and each layer that comes away, or each shape that you put into it, it's like you're exposing its soul, and you don't know. It's a magical thing really, because you don't know what's inside until you cut into it. And sometimes it's a disaster. Sometimes it's really broken, or it's cracked in a place that you didn't really want it. The workshop is definitely my happy place, and I come in here and I get lost in the world of making, and it has become so vital to me in terms of mental health, and I know that that's the same for a lot of people. The workshop, especially when you're on the lathe, you have your full concentration going, because if you don't, accidents happen. It's vital. It's vital to my mental health, I would say. Wood turning and creating, and it's definitely become a part of me. If I'm not in my workshop, I'm itching to get in here. It's become my life, really. I've only been turning for 4 years, but when I look at the things that I've made, and I talk to people and I say I've only been turning for 4 years, they're amazed. But when you think I've probably been in our workshop almost every day for 4 years, apart from on holidays. So when I first started turning, I was still caring for my dad, who had Alzheimer's, so I'd look after Dad during the day, and I would come home and I would go onto the lathe in the evening. So it was my kind of respite. Am I concerned about AI? In terms of handmade things, there's always machinery that's coming out that will replicate in some fashion woodworking, and obviously there's machines that can make things much quicker. But I don't know how someone feels if they're actually controlling those machines, if they're typing something into a computer to make it. I mean, I don't really know. I enjoy making these things here, but it'll never replace that ability to create with your own hands. And I think I don't know how AI could ever replace that. I love to teach. I teach here too, and particularly I'm a woman and I'm trying to encourage other women to get into wood turning, because it's not a physical thing and it's not hard work. You don't need strength to do it, you just need a skill, you just need to learn the skill. One of my pupils is, I think she's 19, and she loves it. She comes here, she's got a lathe at home now, and I think exposure to any form of craft like that is just so valuable. To have younger people having the opportunity to come and try these things out is just brilliant. And of course, you know, she talks to her friends and her friends are interested in coming along, or, you know, she's showing people that some of the things that they make. And I just find it's so enriching. Any of these crafts take money. You've got to have a lathe, you've got to have, you need various other bits of equipment. You need a bandsaw, you need sharpening system, you need tools. So it's not a cheap hobby. Most of my machinery is second hand. So there are ways of helping people get into that, into something like this. You know, and just the joy of working with your hands. You know, you think about all the apprenticeships that have probably been missed now, and just trying to find good craftsmen is hard. So that's certainly one of the things that I'm trying to help here. I would highly recommend just throwing yourself in and having a go. We all worry about making mistakes, you know, even if you think about drawing. I can't draw, but I have a go. Sometimes I have to draw things that are going on in my head to try and work out what I'm going to make. And it doesn't look great, but you know, you have a go, and some of the things don't matter. And it's like with any part of craft, the joy of actually making something, producing something with your own hands. I mean, it's probably like baking a cake if you're a baker. I don't know, you start with your ingredients, you put it all together, you put it into the oven, out it comes, and you've got a nice cake. You've done all of that with your own hands. Well, it's like that with a lathe, or if you're basket making, or if you're drawing. You're creating that thing. And does it matter if it's not perfect? No, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. You know, they say the artists say they had to draw 1,000 things before they created something that was good. And it's like with wood turning. You start with something, you start with a piece of wood when you start, and you end up with this nice little, tiny little thing. And then the more you practice, the less wood you lose, and the quicker you get to your shape. But it's not about mistakes, it's not about being perfect. It's about engrossing yourself in the process.